Hello, and once again, welcome to a virtually different partner showcase for the Keep Indiana Learning Summer Conference. I'm super excited to be joined today by my buddy Bill from Purdue University, and he'll be talking to you guys today about the Catalyst program, which helps teachers interested in STEM further their practice. And he and I are just going to have a conversation today. I remember what it was like, Bill, when I was a career changer looking for the right transition to teaching program, and that went right into earning that graduate certificate, went right into me earning my MED. I'm sure you've spoken to a bunch of people that were either in my situation or more responsibly, they are in that traditional age range of choosing education as a career and particularly interested in STEM. And can't imagine just what it's like to reflect on the legacy that this program has yielded for the state of Indiana, given how much interest there is in STEM and how important that is to have in each and every school district in the state. So welcome, and thank you so much for joining, Bill.
Yeah, thanks, Eric, very much. We're doing a lot of neat STEM things over at Catalyst, and I'm excited about sharing them.
Oh, fantastic. Well, why don't you just kick us off by telling us a little bit about your background, maybe the quick origin story about the program at Purdue. And I guess, Catalyst probably needs not just explain historically, but bring us to the present by the end of this broadcast. So how did it get started, and how did you find your way into the program yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you can see on the screen, I'm Bill Walker. I'm the assistant director for Catalyst. Catalyst is housed at Purdue University, and Catalyst stands for, it's the Center for Advancing the Teaching and Learning of STEM Education. The center in current form has been around for 5 to 8 years. And the reason why I don't know the exact number of years is there's been a couple predecessors to it. There was the center kind of got rebranded and refocused again about a little over 5 years ago. It was a program called CRESME before that, but again, still focused on STEM education and educational research. And then before that, it was a program called the Math Science Center before that. But in its current form, Catalyst, we have a couple really neat features. One, we focus a lot on research, not only for doing research, but also getting what we've learned from research into the classroom. So we do a lot of work with teachers to translate the things from research into the classroom. The other really exciting piece is, as Catalyst is in its current form, we have a lot of partnerships with schools, but also partnerships with a lot of researchers across Purdue University, from math education, from science education, from technology education, and from engineering education. And we actually meet regularly to work together on projects to advance STEM education. So there's about 10 of us that work together on this. We have a lot of school partners and teacher partners as well. And we're really focused on doing the research, but then getting it into the classroom.
Yeah, absolutely. I just hearing that overview makes me realize what kind of a think tank a higher education university with a legacy like Purdue might have in contributing to that across disciplines, of course, within under the bigger umbrella of STEM. It must be really exciting to work with professors and other subject matter experts to shape a program like this that's relevant to K-12, not just for teachers extending their practice, as I said, but also to create opportunities for students that wouldn't exist if it didn't have that sort of a pedigree. Am I interpreting that correctly?
Yeah, absolutely. It's actually fascinating to when we work together and to kind of look at each of the disciplines have a history behind them. My background tends to be a little bit more in mathematics, and I work with a lot of people, as I mentioned, who have backgrounds in science and technology and engineering. And because of that, sometimes when we work on some things, we come at them from different perspectives, and we have to learn how to work together in order to do these things. And probably one of the biggest takeaways we have so far is we've really focused on what does integration mean, and we've done some research on that. And what I think is, in addition to the exciting part about it being so interesting to work with faculty from so many different areas, that these teacher and school partnerships that we have that allow us to test out these new ideas and get them into the classroom and learn from the teachers, learn from the practitioners. They're really partners with us. We're not trying to impose research on them or anything like that. We learn. Sometimes we think we have ideas we think are going to be great, and then we talk to teachers and they say, "Oh, you need to make some adjustments if you want it to take place in the classroom." And so they've done a lot of. We've worked with teachers in schools on a lot of curriculum development and a lot of things as well. They've helped us with some publications, and so I think the whole scope of the partnerships, the interdisciplinary nature, but also being so well connected to the schools and the teachers, makes Catalyst a really exciting place.
Well, it is. And you just made me realize that it's an entire ecosystem. If you've got that access to the K-12 educators, and there's that throughput back and forth between the program administrators and those contributing to it, let alone the participants that are furthering their practice, you're getting real field feedback, right? That influences the evolution of the program and what it's going to take for a current in-service teacher to be even more successful implementing STEM. What I've witnessed, and I know you're going to share your screen with us here in a little bit and walk us through the program some and share some customer success stories. I say customer, I should say school partner or educator success stories, participant success stories. But I think about the investment that you watch. If you're on the K-12 side of the fence as an administrator, maybe you've been through the process of raising the capital to launch a STEM academy, like a dedicated facility, but it doesn't have to be that extensive, right? It can be a whole lot more informal and meet teachers and schools where they are with the culture that they have and help them boost the STEM offerings to make them, whether it's to be more competitive or just to be compliant with what is necessary for kids to be ready for what comes next, because they're getting the access to STEM education that wouldn't happen if they weren't infused with the sort of professional learning that you would find in a formal graduate certificate program, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a great segue into. So one of the things we're really proud of is we have a certificate program for current teachers who are interested in getting like a STEM endorsement, if you want to call it that. It's not a license, but it's a certificate to show specialization as a STEM educator. And as you mentioned, we've had dozens of teachers have finished this program. I can think of two in particular. One of them was a teacher I worked really closely with, who's going to be a secondary math teacher. During his interview, he had earned the certificate, and during his interview with the new school that he's going to be working at, they were really interested in doing integrated activities at the school, but they're kind of on the cutting edge of it, just beginning. He shared a lot of what he had done through the coursework, and they were just thrilled with what he was going to be able to add to their faculty, and so he got that job right away. I can also think of another teacher through our graduate program who she's been adding a lot of activities. Again, it's very practical based, the certificate program that we have. We want it to be we want it to get into the classroom, so we focus on things that are happening in the current schools and a lot of curriculum development. We allow the teachers to work on their own projects so it can impact their classrooms. And so she's been doing a lot with not only just STEM, but she's adding a lot of technology to the learning as well. And her classroom just seems like it's such an exciting place for her students right now. So we've had good success with this graduate certificate. Teacher, it's a 12 credit hour certificate. You take classes on introduction to interdisciplinary STEM. There's a class on assessment. There's a class on engineering design. So there's just a lot of opportunities to learn about the aspects of integrated STEM and then get it into the classroom. That's what we're really looking for.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Now I'm thinking about some of the events that you have coming up too. It's like so many different rabbit trails I could chase right now, Bill, but like there's that formal piece that very similar to other programs. You get to a point in your education as a classroom teacher, or maybe as a program administrator within a district, and you're like, okay, well, I need to have this sort of a specialty training in order to foster this sort of growth at our school. I'm guessing though that you have other ways, especially after nearly a decade in operation and growing the program over time. There are a lot of catalysts. Is graduate the right word?
Yeah.
Is it
So
okay?
yeah,
So
we can call they're all we'll call them programs for lack of a better word. They kind of go across a whole scope of different things. So and I did actually when you were just describing that, it brought to mind one other thing with especially in Indiana, but I also it's a nationwide movement, right? There's a
sure.
lot of schools that are moving towards this integrated STEM idea. Some schools want to be actually certified STEM schools. Some schools, even if they're not going to be certified STEM schools, they still want their students to have interdisciplinary STEM learning experiences. So that's another strength for our certificate is we're helping prepare teachers to go into these interdisciplinary STEM teaching situations, whether it's a certified school or not, and really have an impact with those students. So that's another thing we're really proud of with the certificate program. But then, as you mentioned, there's kind of two more things I want to highlight. One of them is another way that we really promote STEM education all across the state. We are the sponsors for what's called the Indiana STEM Education Conference, and that's hosted annually in January. The one that's upcoming this year is going to be on. Let me double check my date here, but I think it's on, yeah, Thursday, January 12th in 2023 will be the next iteration of that conference. We will hold it in person currently, unless COVID or otherwise won't allow us to, but we're planning to have it as an in-person conference. And it's a great way to bring STEM educators from all across the state, but we've also had people from Illinois and Ohio come and visit us as well, and just to share ideas and learn what's happening in other classrooms and in other schools. So we really encourage the people to consider attending the Indiana STEM Education Conference. And then in addition, we have kind of a new feature, and the new feature is what we're calling the Catalyst Network. And the Catalyst Network, it really simply, it's an email list. But why it's an important email list is we're hoping people will sign up for this because we have, as you mentioned, all these opportunities where we get a new grant or we have a new workshop or we have a new program for students. I can think of two that happened just in the last couple months. One of them was we have a program called STEM plus Ag. It's for middle school students, and we were looking for, honestly, we could have done it for hundreds of students, but so we wanted to advertise this to teachers and to families so that students could participate in the STEM plus Ag program. That took place, I think, in March. And then also this summer, we had a STEM and nanoscience workshop for teachers as well. And again, I just want to get this information out and let teachers and students know that these things are available. And so, any STEM educator who's interested in receiving information about these programs, and they come up periodically. It's not going to be a monthly email letter or anything like that. But when somebody says to me, "Bill, we have a great STEM program. We really want teachers to know about it, or we really want students to know about it," I just want to shoot a quick note out through that list of here's what the program is, here's how you can learn more, and if you want to sign up, you can sign up. So that's the new Catalyst Network is what we're calling it. So we can just share all these exciting STEM education opportunities as they pop up because, Purdue, as well as our schools, we're on the cutting edge and new things come up all the time. And I just want to share them in the moment and let people know that they have all these opportunities.
Yeah, and speaking of the way that the program's evolving and the new resources that you're making available to the field, with the backdrop of what would be cohort by cohort a growing network.
Yeah.
Your mention of the STEM plus Ag specialty program
Yep.
reminds me of the fact that Indiana is houses the headquarters for the Future Farmers of America,
Yep.
and takes me back to my childhood and the school system I grew up in Bartholomew County, where I had plenty of classmates that wore the blue jacket and
Yep.
were going back into either taking over the family farm as the next generation, or maybe going beyond that and working for one of the companies that served the family farm for so many years. Everybody knows Purdue is the place to get that sort of a background after you graduate from high school. Wouldn't it be great if their teachers were even more attuned to what's happening in the field, have access to higher education professors, let alone subject matter experts, and the industry itself, many of which are represented likewise locally, and know good and well that the source for all of this was the Catalyst program at Purdue. So
Yeah.
that sounds to me like you're positioning yourself well for continuing to support students that want to move in that particular direction locally, but have access to going above and beyond
Oh, yeah.
as high as their aspirations and ambitions might reach, right?
Well, and we're just so fortunate, the resources at Purdue, because we have such a great College of Agriculture, such a great College of Engineering, College of Science, and a great College of Education as well. And just to kind of to your example, we have two of our partners, Dr. Knobloch and Dr. Wong. They are actually professors in the College of Ag, but with this really strong connections in life science and plant science and everything, and what's happening in integrated STEM. If you just think about life science for a second and how much integrated STEM can help inform that field, and we're so fortunate to have these two faculty partners as a part of Catalyst who are translating our work into the agricultural area. And that's just one example. We have also partners in engineering that do the exact same thing. So we're just very fortunate to that such great research takes place at Purdue. But again, Catalyst focused is we bring these people together and then we bring it out into the classroom, and not only bring the faculty together, but bring the practitioners, bring the teachers together as well, so that we can find out. Sometimes theory sounds really good, but to get it in the classroom, we need the people that are out in the field doing that, and we need their advice as well. So that's why the Catalyst Network could be a real important tool if people want to add their email to the list so they can learn about these different events that take place. We're thrilled to share it. And if is it okay? Do I have time to share my screen for just a minute here? And
yeah, go right ahead. Of course.
Let me do that real quick. And got to make sure I pick the right screen. All right. So, Eric, tell me, are you seeing the website that says K-12 Integrated STEM Graduate Certificate?
Yes, I am, and so is everybody else.
Fantastic. All right. So this has information here. And again, if you go to the Catalyst booth at the conference, I'll have the links to all of these at our booth. But this is information about that graduate certificate in K-12 Integrated STEM that I mentioned before. And I just want to share it so you can kind of be familiar when you go to it. But there's even a place you can apply to the program right here and a little bit more information. And at our booth, I'll have an information sheet about it as well. And then this is the website for the Indiana STEM Education Conference. We need to update the date. As I mentioned, the one for the upcoming year is going to be January 12th on 2023. But we'll get that information updated very quickly here. And then finally, as I talked about the Catalyst Network, this is where you could go to sign up for the website. I'm sorry, not sign up for the website, sign up for the email list. And you just fill in this portion here, and then you'll hit the subscribe button. I'll approve you for the list, and then you'll be a member of that group, and we'll share all the exciting opportunities that come across for us.
Well, I'm excited that you guys are adding the Catalyst Network to your offerings to bring together prior cohorts to the present. Because to this day, I am still friends with people that I went to did my late in life second career grad school work with, and still rely upon them for everything from tips back in the day. It was tips for the classroom. At this point, no longer being in the classroom, it's for sharing leads, referrals, getting just a trusted sounding board from somebody who knows what it's like to be in this particular niche. I have to think the same has to be true for Catalyst participants as the network continues to expand. And
it's actually, sorry I'm interrupting you a little bit, but it's actually one of the real exciting things is because we do these interdisciplinary things, we bring teachers together from a whole bunch of different areas, not only just physical, geographic areas, but, different disciplines and different grade levels. And so, you really do build your own network through a lot of our programs where not only, you'll work on the program, but then when you're done, you stay in contact and you say, hey, I'm teaching a lesson on ecosystems. What would you do with ecosystems in your math class? Or how could you do ecosystems in your technology class? And so we're building kind of this, these networks among our programs, and our teachers keep working together, even if it's not directly through us as well. So we hope to just keep connecting teachers and build that expertise so that students can be impacted all across the state. And again, as I mentioned, we have teachers from other states as well. So it's not just across Indiana, but across the nation.
Oh, that's great. Well, Bill, as we wrap things up here, I just got to commend you for providing to the field not just an excellent thought leadership and professional growth opportunities through higher education, but just for the sake of how all that translates to kids that may never thank a teacher for the specific instruction that they gain and the way that they further their practice through the Catalyst program. That comes back to you and your colleagues at Purdue. And I want to thank you on behalf of all the participants in the Keep Indiana Learning Network for bringing this forward so that next week they can come visit your booth at the virtual conference. Of course, they can come back to this video and visit, as well as visit the Catalyst website, get in touch with you. And whether you're an administrator sharing this with your teachers or a teacher wanting to bring this forward for your STEM program at your school, bring together all your other teachers. I think that would be a really powerful opportunity for us to look long-term at how to take STEM across the board. You may not be interested in becoming a farmer yourself in the ag specialty program, but everybody has to eat. And so we really need this modern approach that you've taken to making sure that the profession stays on the cutting edge. Thank you.
STEM is so critical to so many things, and you can't. I really think students almost can't learn enough about it right now. So it's going to have an impact on almost anything they do. Indeed.
And I can't cap it off any better than that. Thanks so much, Bill, for taking time with me today, and looking forward to seeing you next week at the conference.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate it very much.
Very good. All right, everybody. Until next time, I'm Eric. This is Bill. Please check out the Catalyst program, and we will see you all next week at the event.